Today on the podcast from Kruger Media, Michael Frohoff, we are talking about PR, how it shifts to content creation and how it interacts with each other, how budgets will be budgeted in the next year, and what we can learn from the previous campaigns and 20 years of his experience. Let's go.
New Trend Society, the BDX marketing podcast with Benjamin Dietering.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of New Trend Society podcast. Today I'm recording a remote episode. I'm in Los Angeles and my colleague or my today's guest is in Berlin. It's Michael Frohoff. He's the founder and CEO of Kruger Media with great clients like Telecom. They have clients like Kia, Wacken Festival, a lot of crazy good clients, and they doing brand communications and PR out there in Germany. Today we want to talk about their heritage, what made them successful in the past, and they are also doing a lot of cool stuff right now on LinkedIn. Michael is very active out there. We're working together on Magenta Music, on all the big German festivals together with Deutsche Telekom. So there's a lot of stuff happening, and it's an honor to have you on the podcast, Michael, and great that we're actually chatting for the first time in person for real, right?
Yeah, but I mean, first of all, let me thank you for having me and the opportunity to talk to your audience, which is great. So I follow what you do in LA, and I love LA. So and we already recognized when we talked earlier that we had got some common friends in LA. So it's a great honor. It's a great pleasure. So looking forward what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about Kruger Media? How long does the company exist? How big are you guys? Well, is that right what I said in the intro? So can you give us a rough overview?
Yeah, so the company is around more or less 20 years. And we're a group of 25 experts in the field of PR, as you mentioned, social media, creative relations, content productions, all these stuff, what it needs to do a 360 degrees marketing campaigns for clients, which describes us best as our claim, make some noise. So that's, on the one side is our heritage. We come from the music entertainment world. Actually, our first client was the TV show Top of the Pops, which was really nice. Big in the 80s, 90s, and how do you say that, in the 2000s across Europe. That was actually our first client, which was aired in Germany on TV station called RTL. So you're going to find Kruger in this area, music, big festivals, big venues, and aired in the old days on TV channels, in the new days on streaming platforms like you mentioned, Magenta Music. And our approach to our clients is this make some noise thing. So because we all know when you're at a great concert, at a great festival, there's a band on stage and there's always a moment when they say, make some noise. And Benjamin and I were going to scream, yeah. So this is the feeling, what we want to create to our clients. We want to stage the clients and create fans. That's the basic idea about Kruger.
Nice. Can you talk a little bit about the clients you guys serving today?
Today we got a wide range of clients, which is not only the entertainment world. As you mentioned, we have Deutsche Telekom. In the US, it's T-Mobile. So we have the big companies, but we have the car companies, Kia. We have a camper van company called Carrado. We have Pluto TV, which is also streaming out of the Viacom world. We have Tencent Games. And we still do some artist promotion, for example, for Paul van Dyk. That's a pretty famous German, but also, I guess, international DJ.
Yeah, so, I would say one of the biggest in the world, right?
Absolutely. He was, back in the days, he was the person with the second most Lufthansa miles, because he was constantly traveling around the world. So I know Paul pretty well. So it's a good story. But we also have clients like Roborock, which is which is vacuum cleaners. But they love the approach. So they came to us because they said, okay, we're pretty good on the tech side of PR, but we think it's a lifestyle product. And we said, yeah, okay, we're going to bring you in the Vogue. And we brought Roborock vacuum cleaners in the Vogue. So that's what we do. So it's a pretty broad range from also Casio, a music instrument, keyboards as clients. So quite nice range.
Nice. So you guys have a lot of experience, and with 20 years in the field, a lot of stuff changed, right? And my observation is back then in the early 2000s, 2010s, PR was still a very huge thing, and a lot of brands spent big budgets on that. And throughout the years, it shifted over to social media, then influencers, and there's always like some hype trains where people are jumping on, right? But how's your perspective on that, and how did you guys evolve to stay in the field and still be successful?
So the next big trend is PR. It's going to be the next big trend.
Again?
To be honest, I believe it. So you're absolutely right. So there are always some ups and downs, and there are new trends. Of course, then social media came, then the influencers came. Now they're called creators. Let's see what's the next word for this. Then there was the word storytelling. Then it's content production. So there are a lot of ways. And from my perspective, coming from the PR world, I think when you talk to a journalist 20 years ago and you talk about the weather, you were talking about football results, but after a while you were talking about the project, the client, and then the journalist said, "Hey, what's the story behind it?" So, in my opinion, the PR guys did storytelling forever. So in my opinion, it was a marketing trend, framing by advertising agencies to call it storytelling, which is right now content production, which is right now cultural marketing. And in my perspective, PR did it very all the day. But of course, there was this thing that the relevance of PR was going down. Saying the lobby of PR is pretty bad compared to the lobby of advertising agencies. They do it much, much better. And so the budget shifted completely, as you said, to social media. Now we have the big hype for, of course, and fully relevant for influencers, creators. Then we have the budgets going to programmatic advertising. But I see a new momentum for PR because people see that the story and the really the relevance of the content counts, not only the budget you put on programmatic or whatever, and you don't see the real results. And now we see the new shift that that content, relevance, purpose, impact are the new things in marketing. And these are always backed, in my opinion, with stories, and which is the basic discipline of PR. So I see there's a new high for PR next year.
Would you agree that PR is kind of like the umbrella of that? Because it's the origin where stories are nurtured and created, and just the channels changed. So at some point it was YouTube or Instagram, then there's TikTok or Snapchat, or I don't know, it can be even a podcast, or like the outlets change. Would you agree to that? But the stories keep the same?
Benjamin, you said the right word, so I'm very pleased. So I fully agree that public relations, when you understand it as really the umbrella of storytelling, it's really the thing. The problem is that a lot of people also in marketing and who are responsible in companies understand PR as traditionally doing a press release, sending out a press release, talking to 5 journalists, and hopefully get a story somewhere. So the really basic of PR, and additionally, let's say it's only print. So I think the PR guys have the competence to make the great stories across the channels. Of course, it needs the full mix of great content people, of great people who understand YouTube, who understand TikTok. So, and of course, the advertising people would say, "Hey, we are in the lead." So I would say that somebody has to be in the lead. It's today you need teams who are bringing together a lot of relevance of all feeds. So you need somebody who's really deep into creator relations, really understands what the creator wants. You need somebody who understands the technical side of TikTok, the algorithm of TikTok, and the other platforms, of course, Snapchat and YouTube and the Meta world, of course, too. So you need a team, and you need teams which are really open to work together, like we guys do with BDX and Kruger. So it needs.
Can you explain that relationship a little bit? I mean, a lot of our listeners know what we do, and we are mostly in the strategy and content production, photo, video side. You guys, we just talked about it, but and one of the main cases was Magenta Music for T-Mobile.
Absolutely.
Can you explain what happened there a little bit? Or what happened there? What we're doing? What we're thriving on?
The thing is that T-Mobile and Magenta Musik tells the story perfectly. We came in on board for Deutsche Telekom T-Mobile 15 years ago, doing PR for their music campaigns, which was Telekom street gigs with the biggest pop stars in the world, from Coldplay, Billie Eilish, to Robbie Williams. We just had 30 Seconds to Mars. So we came in for PR only. Then they said, "Hey, we're going to shift to, we need to copy with the social media thing." And we said, "Hey, let's go. Let's do it." So we came on board doing the social media stuff for Magenta Musik. And then came in, okay, we need some more really fancy, cool content which really catches the target group, which is, of course, a lot of festival goers, like the kids who are going to go to Lollapalooza, the metalheads who are going to go to Wacken, or the hip-hop dudes who are going to go to Rolling Loud. So we need a partner who fully understands how the content has to look like. So you can't talk to content production teams who were great in the TV times. So you need the guys like you who fully understand the target group and are coming out of the target group. So I think this is a new thing, that you have to be always in these communities. And that's what we bring together for our client Magenta Musik. So we had the honor to talk to you guys and your Kati and your team. And it matches perfectly. So I think it's giving an idea to your partners in Leipzig, and you throw some idea over to Berlin, and it's a cool back and forth, and then it's a great collaboration on the ground. So it needs that you fully understand what the goal is, what the target is for the client, and then make the best out of it. And additionally, we work with creators, so it's all in 360 degrees for Magenta Musik.
Nice, that's great. Michael, how do you make sure that this collaboration is actually very positive? I know when a lot of agencies come together and have one client, there's also sometimes politics involved, and they say, "Oh, that's our turf, and that's that," and maybe they want to get our budget and all of that. You have a very collaborative approach, but how's your perspective on that in general, and what's their best practice? Maybe for someone who runs an agency, things like, okay, maybe we also want to extend. I mean, to be honest, everybody wants to get more budget for the next year and wants to strengthen the relationship with the client. But what's the best way to also keep everybody on the table happy?
I think the trend is collaboration. So you see it in very different fields. You see that the request by the client is more complex, what you can't do as one agency. Usually not. So you have to work on a collaboration. And if you say, and when your goal and your approach is that the client is key and the success for the client is key, and everything has to be under this perspective that the success for the client is key, because when you are successful, then you will have the client also in the next year. And very important for success is chemistry. The chemistry with the client and the chemistry with the other agencies. And when you keep that in mind, the 100% focus on success and 100% focus on chemistry, that is going to work. We all know that there are agencies out there who are who are differently working. Maybe it's a good thing to when you want to work with a new agency, that you take a little look in their company structure, in their agency structure, because when you have in these agencies too many units who are organized in let's say profit centers where only the money counts, then easily the chemistry is not going to work. Because the person running this unit, running this key account, running this project has the goal within the company to make 20%, 30%, 50% more budget every year. And for this reason, it might that this person is not so collaborative. So this is something I always would recommend if you want to work with other agencies. Take a look what the company structure is. That's going to help. And the overall goal is that when you work in a collaboration, you can make much more budget. You can make much more money because when you can offer a client a setup of agencies with different backgrounds. One are the advertisers, one are very good on the ground, the PR guys, the content guys, the social media guys. The client might love this because they know they got a team which is working together maybe for a couple of years, know each other. So for the client, it's pretty straightforward because they can lower the time to guide, to maneuver or to steer these agency setup. So, and this is why we believe it's pretty good. And the other thing is, if you have a bunch of agencies around you, you can promote each other. So like you did. So you went on LinkedIn, saw my post and said, hey, cool, Michael, what you doing? So when I see a post by BDX, what maybe Kati is posting, of course, they got 3 rockets under it. And so you can see, hey, well, you know how it works. Sometimes it's pretty simple. So give it a heart, give it a 3 rockets. And people say, hey, so they love BDX, they love that agency, they love that agency. And the clients of the other agencies see, hey, this is a cool crowd understanding each other. Okay, this is, who did these 3 rockets? Oh, this Michael from Kruger. Who the fuck is Kruger? Uh-huh. So, and this is spreading a little bit within the social game or the LinkedIn game. And your reputation, your relevance for the agency, and if you're cool with another, then it's going to work.
Nice. That's great to hear. I love that, and your thoughts on collaborating in general. So definitely shout out to Kati from our team. She did a good job there in getting the relationships. I have another question for you. Let's say you are a client, you have a product, definitely nationwide, maybe international, and you have $1 million to spend to promote it, whatever it is. Maybe it's a new car, maybe it's a reusable bottle or whatever. Where would you put your money in the next year?
Next year, sports. So I would put,
okay.
Yeah,
I'm thinking more of okay, so definitely sports. Why sports? And how would you do percentage wise? Let's say you have $1 million of budget. How much in PR? How much in content creation? How much in strategy? How would that look like?
Oh my goodness!
We're promoting, by the way, this beautiful black reusable water bottle.
Yeah, so the problem is that the PR budgets are usually not that big as the advertising budget. So I have to say, put more in PR. No, I think the first thing is you should put a percentage in real strategy and research, because this is what we feel, which is always coming really too short. So you sometimes get a briefing by a client, which is no briefing. 3 words, hey, what can you do? And they very often don't understand that you have to do a strategic deep dive, what the client really wants. So I would put, 20% in this thing before you do anything, into really find the perfect strategy, find the perfect target groups, find the right community, the right area where this product should be, and to find one community where it should be. So, for example, one of our clients is Shocks, a headphone company from China, and they have 100% focus on sports. So we see so many brands who are distracted, who do a little bit of soccer here and there because one loves Borussia Dortmund, so they want to spend some sponsorship there, and then they do this collaboration there, and then they book 10 creators randomly who are gonna have this product on Wednesday. They have this product, on Thursday they have this product. So 20% on the basic deep dive, and then it's the classic mix. So I would bring together the advertising team and the PR team. So usually they first go to the advertising guys, and then to the PR team, then to the on the ground. I would bring them directly together and put these, as I mentioned earlier, to set up a team of creatives. Because, for example, our benchmark from PR side is always Tagesschau, which is the biggest TV show in Germany. And it can't get bigger from PR wise. And if you bring some different target and goals together, and also from the media side, then you can make a perfect setup. And then it really depends if it's a community-driven product. For example, if you have a bicycle, so if you have a cool bicycle, you do a deep dive into the cycling community, which really is really supportive, and can bring you much more audience relevance and reach than a basic media budget if you make it properly. So in the end, as always, it's a mix, and you have to have great creative people from the advertising side, from the copy side, because we all have seen so many boring ads, TV ads, social ads, which not going to work. So put a lot of money in good text guys, or not only ChatGPT. Of course, ChatGPT helps a lot. And maybe, as you said, to have the PR guys as the story umbrellas, and then put money in great creators or talents who bring you in the community, and be part of communities, and be part of events, bring it on the ground. So, but it's difficult to say a percentage, 20% here, 30% here. Yeah. It really depends on the product. So, but I think you can, if you do this community thing and culture thing, and invest in this part, you don't have to spend that much money on media.
Okay. So let's say you can decide just for one thing. It's either bringing in great talent or you spend budget on paid? What would you do?
It's very easy on talent.
Yeah?
Always on talent. Yeah, always on talent. Why so? And I would always and our perspective is the first thing that you spend it better on talent, and don't spend it on the big names. Don't spend it on Jude Bellingham and Lewis Hamilton. I don't know what's of course it's what is in your pocket. So if you got 10 billion, so go ahead. Or if you got 100 million, go ahead. But what we've seen is that you should go for talents who have maybe a niche community, because the talents in this community will easily are much more fans and more interactive with these talents. And for example, we have we work for a female race driver. So she's part of the F1 Academy, which is the first female race series part of Formula One.
Nice. What's her name?
Kerry Schreiner. She's from Germany,
nice.
from Saarbrücken, and she does her second year right now. And when we're really lucky, she's going to be part of the Formula E, the new female race series. And within this, it's of course it's in Formula One, but you have a really interesting female audience, and bringing motorsports to a female audience, which is really interesting. Not only the dudes like me who are born with gasoline in their in their veins. So you reach totally new target groups, and it's not that cost intense like Formula One or Bundesliga or NFL, of course. And the fans of these talents, if it's Formula One or maybe skateboarding or snowboarding, the relation between the fans, the community, and the talents is much more bigger. And if you then support the talent, you can really get more relevance and also drive conversion to your brand and also to sales by these collaborations.
Okay. When it comes to these different talents, there are different opinions on that. So some people say creators, influencers, actors, actresses, they are all overpaid. Why do you think the opposite is true?
Yeah, so this is always a discussion. They are overpaid. So the thing is, you can just compare numbers. So you can compare it with the old days. If you spend some media budget into a TV show or a TV ad, you spend and you have a reach, let's say from 1 million for a TV spot on old TV. And if you work with great influencers, micro influencers, huge influencers with 100K, 1 million, 10 million, they are definitely worth it, because the reach, what they get for your product, is much, much better than, or could be better than it's in traditional TV. And if you work really intense and in a good relationship with these creators and really create a story with them. So I understand that people say that some creators show this product in the camera on Mondays and that product on Tuesdays. But also these are the old influencer days. So that there are still some around. But I think the real creators in their area, so for example, they are creators for fishing. They are creators for
outdoor sports, whatever, right? They're pretty loyal to a brand, kind of, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And the stories what they create are, sorry, Benjamin, they're as good as what we do.
So, definitely.
And it's great storytelling what they do, especially in action sports, because they used to do it since 20, 30 years. We all know what Bull does. and the others, and the artists or the talents who work with in the action sports, they definitely know what is cool content. And if you work with these guys, it's going to be big. It's going to be great.
That's interesting to hear. One thing I would love to add there is that it also tends that there are way more annual relationships with creators and brands than previously, and also all the big creators are aiming for these annual contracts, and in comparison to just do one story or one post for any product. It's way more durable and authentic if you work with a brand like for 1 year. And I see it with I have a small collaboration with American Express. I'm a brand ambassador for Germany there, so that's definitely one thing I've found. I did back then when we started working together in 2021. I did just 1 or 2 posts, which was nice, but the depths I have with that brand right now is way, way more, and definitely exceeds everything that's in the contract. I mean, to be honest, we have there are negotiated a couple of posts per month and stuff like that. But I always over post as I'm just I don't care what's in the contract, right? I'm just doing what I think is right, and I'm loyal to the brand, and probably they may get way more for their money just because it's. It's native and it's part of the story, and that's what I like. So that's definitely a thing I would recommend to all brands who are looking into that.
And they should. What I think they should make this relationship that the creator or the talent is part of the creative process. For example, what Porsche right now does with Dua Lipa is much more than a brand ambassador thing. So in the first place, the first thing you saw that Dua Lipa is standing in front of a Porsche. So I said, a little bit boring. But the full story is that Dua Lipa is, and her creative team is producing a whole content series for Porsche, where she and her team are the creatives for Porsche. And this is something where what we all have to look at, so that we work with, that we don't count the post, but that we make the talent part of a creative story. For example, I don't know if I got it correct. So I heard about the collaboration of NYX Cosmetics and the WNBA in the States when it was at the Cannes Lions, and NYX Cosmetics is a partner of the WNBA, which is, I think it's growing in the States. And we have 2 German female champions of the WNBA. And when I understand it correctly, that you have a lot of people of color, of course, playing in the basketball game. And what they did together, they were trying to find out what is the best cosmetics. And brought in the talent to find also the best product for the best product and make them part of the creative process. And this is something how a creative collaboration with a brand should look like. And or for example, we work for Kia with Finn Springborn. He's a cold water surfer. And we had this story that Kia has a collaboration with Ocean Cleanup, and then we hooked up with Finn and said, "Hey, give us some advice about the beaches in Europe and how they are polluted, what we can do. Do you know some local teams who do something against pollution on the beaches? Can we work with them together?" And he brought us so many insights about surfboard manufacturers who produce surfboard out of recycling plastic. So he was our super creative, and of course then he got a Kia EV9 to drive to the beaches. But he was part of the whole process, and then it's going to be great with the for the brand, and then it's part of the community.
I like that when stuff evolves over time and there's like more time you can put into that. That's also another question I have for you. What I see where I see differences between the European and the US market. In Europe, we have, for us as a content creation agency with some strategy attached, we have a lot of project-based business. I would say like 80%. And in the United States, we have a lot of annual retainers, big contracts, which are way more predictable for us. It's of course you have to put a lot of work in, a lot of front loading to close these deals. But if you have them, it's way easier for you, your sales team, and all the people in your whole company who work on that brand. Because if you work on project basis, you always have to dig for the next thing. Like, do you have anything else? Is there here something? Is there something? Of course, right? I mean, there's also a lot of inbound project business coming. But if you have a genuine contract which contains, let's say, like 20, 30 production days or like man hours or whatever you want to call it, that's what I really prefer to work with. But how's your perspective on that? And I think in PR, it always has been kind of like that. What would you recommend to us if we want to work more on that in Europe or in Germany especially?
Yeah, so it's a really important topic. So, but it's also different. It's a different culture in the US and UK. The thing is that, of course, the US is the home of entertainment. They know since ages that entertainment is a part of your business as a personal brand or as a classic brand, product brand. And they know that and we see it from the side working for pop stars, superstars, and from the music world, or also from the movie world. They have a constant deal with a publicist. So they have a permanent deal with some person or a team or an agency who's taking care of their business, of their PR, of their communications on all areas on an annual basis or a constant basis. In Germany, and I guess in the rest of Europe, we only think in launches. There's the next product launch, there's the next festival, there's a new album coming out, there's a new movie coming out. So, and from the perspective maybe of a movie studio, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense for the artist, because the artist, in my opinion, like it's common in the UK or in the States, needs permanent communications to build his reputation. And this is the same with brands. So if you want to be relevant on a long scale in different areas, not only on media side or online, but if you want to build reputation, if you want to build relevance, you have to be constantly out there. So 2-3 years ago, it was this wording, you have to be always on in the social community. Now we say you have to be always in the community, which means that you have to do it, as you said, that you have to have a permanent team of creators. If it's a content production team like you guys with BDX who do great stuff, or have a deal with some talents creators a year round, or with PR agencies or advertising agencies. So the thing is, we have to shift mindsets in Europe, which is a long way to go, because in Germany we have this traditional product launch thinking, which is wrong. So, and we have to shift mindsets, and then we can hopefully get brands to do more annual contracts or even longer contracts, maybe also a 3-year contract with an agency, because then you can really develop together the best stories, the best content for the brand. And And as you said, and very often it's that you have to do something really quick. So we have a production in next week. So we all know how it works today. So, and you guys have these requests. We have this request. Hey, we have Mark Forster, a German TV actor, performing on the rooftop of this house next week. Can you come along with the content team? So if you don't have a contract with a contract with the content team or communications team, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be really, really struggling. So it absolutely makes sense for the client to have these deals. But it's a job for all of us in this area to change this mindset.
That's great and valuable input. Mike, I could go on forever, and I have a lot of more topics I would love to tackle. But I would just love to mention one more thing where you really stand out, and the listeners and our audience should be aware of your own conference, the Remix conference. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that before we close down here.
Benjamin, likewise. So, and I didn't even ask you a question about how is LA and what your business is there, but we have to close with that one.
Yep.
So, we're doing Remix on our own. Remix is called the first pop culture summit. So our goal is to bring together all the genres of pop culture: sports, games, movies, film, art, tech, because it's all pop culture. And we do basically next week a conference where we bring all these things together, and we have a panel where we talk about luxury and pop culture. We have a panel where we talk about sex and pop culture. And the people are there from Gucci, from Spotify, from a yacht manufacturer to TikTok. So it's they're all there coming together. 250 people, a really exclusive one. And during the night, we have an award show. So we premiere the best cultural marketing campaigns of the year. So we have some great companies on the shortlist. We have Borussia Dortmund. So
nice.
I'm a Schalke supporter, so I don't care about Borussia Dortmund. But we have Deutsche Telekom, we have Otto Bock, we have Netflix and Flixbus on the shortlist. But we also have, which was our aim, to spread this topic, cultural marketing, to the community. So we have one satellite program where we hook up with students here in Berlin. We have in one hackathon they're going to create a cultural marketing campaign for one client. I can't say what the client is, but it's a German beer brand. What else? And we have a satellite program that we hook up with cool spots in Berlin, which are relevant in the pop culture market. For example, we hook up with a nail studio where the German female hip hop superstars do their nails. So all these sometimes unsuspected pop culture spots. And we're going to do an exhibition next year with the 99 pop culture items of all times. For example, Tamagotchi, Sony Walkman, Adidas tracksuit. And this is what we do. And we believe, and I really believe, that pop culture can make this world a better place. So, so we say Remix is saving the world, which means that we believe when you put together the triple C's, which is creativity, culture, and community, in one marketing campaign, or really in the DNA of a brand, you constantly and immediately do stuff which has an impact, which has a purpose, and then you make the world a better place. And we all have seen, you have the elections in the States we all have seen the Kamala is Bread thing with Charlie XCX. So we see that there's a collaboration also between pop culture and politics. So I would support Kamala Harris, but I don't know if it works with the pop culture thing. But we believe that there's a value which you can put to your brand by adding to the pop culture world. So this is Remix.
Amazing. I really like it. I am definitely supporting it, and would love to be part of it next year. Unfortunately, it's on already pretty soon. So
your team is coming.
Oh
Your
yeah,
team is
yeah.
coming.
That's great. And on the other hand, I'm also happy with TrendCon, but we gonna continue this conversation anytime soon. We're just running out of time here, as we don't want to make the podcast too long, and we really value you guys' time listening here. So. Thank you very much, Michael, for all these insights on the industry. That was very, very valuable. And for you guys, thanks for tuning in to New Trend Society. Every Wednesday, new episode since more than 140 episodes now. So I think we can really be proud about that right now. There's no week missing. So thank you very much for tuning in. And thank you, Michael, for being guest today.
Thank you, Benjamin. And shout out to all the guys listening. Bye-bye.